Good morning! So you will notice we are not drawing Hilda today. I may or may not have lost a lot of progress on the file, and so we are. So I was like, I have like a JPEG, of like the. Like, I found a JPEG that I'd exported right before, before it, like... Sorry, there's good... I need... Okay, hold on. I need, like, a fun lighting reference for... Okay. We're gonna use this one. Okay. Anyways, so since I lost some progress on that, and I was like, it was fun, but I wasn't, totally sold on finishing it, and I'm also wanting to, I can move this up here. I'm still in the mode of like, I'm still in the mode of like, I want to... Wow, words are hard today. I want to just like practice with different tools and that kind of thing. We're gonna do, so we already have the line art, because this is something that I did a little bit ago. And we're going to just play around with, because remember how I was talking yesterday about how I thought that I could probably, like, tracking. I could probably make it so that way, my, like, shading colors would be auto-done, if that makes sense? Where it's, like, not like the... I'm not the biggest fan of, the like colorize thing. I don't really like that it exists, but it exists. But these actually do need to be done. Oh, my eraser's so big. But basically, because I was thinking about the fact that, like, when I am doing, like, making shading colors, a big portion of it, not all of it, is, like, I want this value to be half to whatever. Okay, I need my... I'm gonna move my tracking, because whenever I look over down there, it loses tracking. There we go. And so, I'm like, I want to look up to see if it's still working. But the idea was, so I can, there's adjustments that I can do to make the value of the color be correct. And so from there, can I, then it was like, can I make a, because I, obviously, between different drawings, the color temperature will change. I'm gonna sneeze. A second. There we go. If the color temperature will change, then can we, like make a different layer that will control that, like the color of the light, the color of the environment, that all affects the shading color. But basically, so can we simplify some of the things that I would be doing? And I've been getting very picky with how saturated things were, and actually, because what I was doing was always like, making the, I would always make the, like, shadows less saturated and the highlights more saturated, because that was how I was taught to do it. And then, I was actually doing some research, in order to, like, make sure that I was making, because if I'm gonna make a tool, then I should probably do it correct. And turns out that shading, like saturation and all that is entirely up to lighting. So that was a good thing to learn. But we're gonna have these over it so we can make these be a little messy. I love this lasso tool. It's also just like so much, it's a reassurance to me to know that I'm not going to have a bunch of edges that I'm gonna have to fix later. Okay, so since, see, other things that we can do. So like when I'm, yeah! So when I'm doing these kind of like, these aren't really studies, they're just more like, I care less about the outcome and more about finding new areas of the process. I used to do these too much, and that was a part of why my process got real slow. Because I was never happy with how I was doing things, and so, or I was like, I would be happy with some elements of it, but like, I'd be constantly changing things, and never sticking with something long enough to get fast at it. And also, when I was trying new things, it was a lot of like, trying new like coloring things rather than like, okay, how do I speed this up? Which is something that like, I at least have a focus on drawing faster, which is obviously not something that everybody needs to have. I simply know that I get tired easily, and then also I have problems with, like, because I used to draw in a very, yeah, my voice is gravelly today, messy painterly style, I would say, but like, things that I view as very beautiful are very, like, is very, like, clean painterly stuff, which typically you need to do line work for. But if I can color block cleanly, then I don't necessarily need to, because I've spent all of this time, like, if you think of it like a skill tree, all of this time building skills of making messy painterly stuff look cleanish. And then I don't want to block out the hair too much, or I don't want to render the hair too much with the lasso tool, because the hairbrush will do that much better. That's color. I might do it. I think this lasso tool is going to become a mainstay. Because just like, look at how cleanly they're blocked in. It makes me so happy. And also I can very quickly fix, because like I'm doing these each on one layer, and so like some things go from back to front, and I have to like, and so I can like, I can just so quickly edit things. Like this little hair chunk is going to need to get a kind of, I don't know what I should call this, backfill? Or just like, just to make sure that there's no like overlaps of stuff. But, because I basically only need to care about edges in specific orders. I don't know if this makes sense. Because, like, so for the shirt, because the shirt is on top, I need to care about all of the edges. For the hair, I don't need to care about the edges if it goes under the shirt or the pants or that kind of thing. And it's hard to keep them in brain, so I do have to, like, kind of backfill. So, like, see how it didn't matter going under the shirt, but it did matter going over the arm. The wrong color. Okay, and now we have what is this song? It's very pretty. Did they not have the? Oh wait, okay, so it's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Rita Village Night. I've been meaning to play Breath of the Wild. That is like. Okay, so I've gone on a journey this year with how I play games. I used to be very much a, I must finish it, any game that I start, and I'm still very much like that, but, oh, wait, hang on, we're gonna, look at how clean that is! So clean! But now I'm letting myself not finish games. Oh wait, I don't have my chat up. I'm sorry if anyone said anything. Okay, we're all good, we're all good. Thank God. But, there's this YouTuber who I love. I love his videos. It's like, it's, Rasputin's, like, his series on his backlog of games. And because I'm very much it really resonated with me because I am very much a very organized person. And I'm organized in weird ways. But I also, the whole, feeling like you need to play through everything because there's like, I know that a lot of games that I have on my, like, backlog would be very enjoyable for me. It's just, there's others that would be more, and also I don't have the time. And so, choosing to let go of games that are giving me some enjoyment, but not, like, peak enjoyment. So, like, I was so heavily recommended Hi-Fi Rush. I don't enjoy the combat style. It's not my thing. But previously I would have forced myself to finish it. And now I'm like, okay, I like, I'm not gonna refund it. Which I think is, like, I don't, I think it's fine if people do if, like, they don't like the game necessarily. I don't like refunding games because I mostly buy from indie studios. If I don't want to give the person money, I will buy it used. But a part of me, buying games is, like, I want to support what somebody's doing. So, like, even though I didn't necessarily like Hi-Fi Rush, which I think was made by a AA studio, they weren't indie, they were affiliated with, somebody, because there was the whole thing of, like, they got let go because their game didn't perform absolutely stellarly, and then, like, but it was, like, very beloved. And then they basically got back together. But, like, so they aren't an indie studio, but, but they are still, like, small enough that I'd really want to, like, make sure that I wouldn't want, even though I only played, like, an hour of that game, I want to make sure that they keep the money. However, one that's not filling with that is Nintendo, because Nintendo is doing, I don't like their legal practices with, Palworld. So they are, there's a Fire Emblem game coming out next year that I really want to play, and so I need to find a Switch 2 used, and then I may buy it. I may also wait. I really want to be a part of, like, the first wave of people, because I grew up on Pokemon, and I remember very vividly, X and Y when that wave was happening. And that was so much fun. Okay. So now, I'm gonna show you what this tool that I made was. So first we're gonna do the change line color. This one I did not make. I think I've tweaked it a little bit, or I want to tweak it more. So it's basically, it makes it so that way it's colored line art. Very cool, very epic. Well, the one that I want to show you is this one, which will do a lot of things. No, what is going on? Do you have to be on top? It was working earlier. Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay. because it's trying to select a layer. Here, let's, I can show you guys how to make one. No, stop it. Because I basically am having it navigate through layers, and it doesn't like doing that. So we're gonna duplicate this first. So we can use it as a reference. So let's bring this out of button mode. Bring this out of button mode. So now we're gonna make a new one. New action. Colors B2. Okay. And so what we're gonna do is, so we're pretending like this bottom one doesn't exist. We're gonna duplicate this. We have to click not on the giant thumbnail. Duplicate this, and we have to do it so that way it doesn't need to navigate. Oh, frick. I might need to do different actions for highlight and shadow. Because that may be the problem. Okay. So now it's change editing layer to... Oh yeah, it's call it... Yeah, okay, so that was the issue. It's calling it by a specific name. So... duplicate this. This one will be our... Okay. I think I know. We're gonna... I want to erase all this. Because we basically need to rename them. Otherwise it won't be able to find them, because it's finding them by the layer name. Not based off of where it is currently. Which makes sense. Okay. Start to record. Okay, so now we're gonna duplicate this. And we're gonna call it shading. We're gonna duplicate this again. We're gonna call it highlights. And now we're going to... So now it should be able to understand what they are. We're gonna hide highlights. I mean, it shouldn't matter actually. It'll help me understand which layer I'm working on. So these are extra steps just because it's easier to program them like this. So now we're gonna go to hue, saturation, luminosity. We're gonna make luminosity. My keyboard, I can't see it. Minus 50. So now you may notice that this is just basically like shading with black. We have the right value. We don't have the right tone yet. So now we're gonna make a new layer. Do a new fill layer. Since this is the shading, I'm just picking a basic shading color. And these will be very easy to edit later. So now it's filled. We're gonna clip it. I'm gonna also name this one. And then we're gonna move this to color mode. And then we're gonna move it to 25. So now look, it's a more toned shading, and we can this can be edited at any time. So now we're gonna go to highlights. We're gonna make highlights visible. We're basically gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna total correction, hue, saturation, luminosity, 50. And then we're gonna do layer, new layer, fill. Now we're gonna make it be like an orange color. And now we're gonna call this highlights color. We're gonna clip it. We're gonna make it be a color blending mode. And we're gonna make it 25%. Okay. And like this amount can be changed, this amount can be changed, these colors can be changed, but that'll very much depend on the lighting. Okay. And then that should be fine. Okay. So now let's delete all this. Delete all our hard work. Delete the layers, I say. Delete. Now if we... I want to redo it. Now if we play it again. There we go! And so it'll do it with any kind of, any, like, image. I can get these, and then I can go... One thing that I would love is to put it in folders. Okay. So, we're at the end of it, so we can just continue recording. Highlight folder. Then I want to move these two into the folder. And then folder, shading folder. I want to move these two into the folder. Okay. So now let's delete everything. See if it works. Let's delete everything. I don't know. Delete there. There's so much shit at this one. Yay! Okay. Awesome. So now what we can do is we can... So just to prove that it isn't like just with this specific thing, we can... So what I usually do is I'll use this as like a color palette. Yeah, remember there's line work? Or shade, or like sketch kind of. That it'll do it just in this small area over here. And then... Why can I not transform this? I didn't successfully put them into the folders, did I? Sad. Okay. That may be a I figure out later thing. And we can... And I don't want to have it, move them in the action because it can be, like, different depending on the light. But... So now we can... Let's look at our reference lighting. So it's got a very strong, like, purpley tone. Can I actually just color pick from this? Hold up. And so remember that because of how we've done this, the middle color won't change. So in order to fully get this kind of like very vivid color, we need to like actually change the middle one as well, and then do these things again. Which actually, let's do that. Well, no, then we'd have to change all these. Okay, so we'll just do like some slight inspiration from this color scheme. I would have had to... Well, I mean... No, let's do it. We're testing out our tools. So we're gonna create a new color layer. We're gonna do it by this like pink. Don't refer to multiple. Flipping. Okay. So now we're gonna delete these. Whoops. I don't know why. I thought the delete deleted the layers. Okay. So now I've got them with that like pinky tone. And then we can grab then we need to make the color effect stronger. That's fun. I don't think it doesn't get exactly what it's looking at, but we might also simply need more, something need to paint it in and see. Okay, so these are the, I'm gonna put all these in one folder. This is like the palette. That's our backup palette. Remake that pretty easily. We're now all alpha locked, and now, oh, we need to redo the colors with our new colors. This is gonna be a vibey color palette at least. Let's, oh yeah, and then we should also change this to be like a, this one is like blue. Yeah, I guess it should be based off of the shading's color, because the shading is like going more towards. Just like fully pick it. I'm nervous about going that saturated. Okay. So now we're gonna do a big brush vibes. Actually, because I'm using this as like a lighting reference, I want to first do the face. This one bigger. Hold on a second. This is a hard lighting. Hard lighting to do. This is coming from like down and to the left. Work on a little bit stronger. This one may maybe be on my skill level at this point. Let's pillow in some shading, see if it helps. Oh, but it is such a vibe. Is this really like... It is just about half down. It's quite frankly, like, wild how, like, I'm very impressed with this, like, I'm very impressed with myself. But it's like, it's wild how there is something here. I can see that there is something here. I may not have the skills to do it yet, but there is something here where it is like these colors are still the colors of Ellie, but it's also like it's in this environment, which is something I have a hard time doing a little bit. This goes over the left eye. This would be a hard cast shadow here. And this entire part of the face would be in shadow. This is hard. Okay. There's also reflective light on here. This like forms the triangle of the face. Okay, let's try. So it might be that there's not, like, it might need some, like, these are where cast shadows are. I just need this to be on multiple. Yeah. also don't have the... I don't have, like, blush tones in there. Which does just kind of make someone look dead if you don't have blush tones. So there should be like a crease here. But also closed eyes have less of a crease. Adding the nose helps. This would be like a cash shadow. I feel like okay, we're gonna go. I usually don't do this at this stage, but we're gonna go above here. This sounds like a Pokemon Master Dungeon song. It's Pikmin! Mm. Probably like Pikmin music if I listen to more of it. It's sad. There we go. Okay. I think that because there was that, that the line work slash sketch layer slash, I don't really know. It was causing it to be a bit of a meanie. Should be able to start blending. I want this to be a right here. So I basically use these brushes as like hard and soft shadows edges. So like these I want to all be soft. And I want that on like the edge of her cheek as well. Very blendy. And then places where I want hard shadow, it's like here. So then I'll just like take this kind of harder brush and I'll just like do a bunch of little strokes. I want this area to actually be like more middle tone as well. Here I want the edges to be softer. And then this I actually want to bring this tone down. So I can do the different tones with either of the brushes. It's just kind of easier to do it with. There we go. Look at my baby. Now with using that piece of lighting as a reference, we can kind of like fix the shading in the rest of the spots. So I'm gonna do it very dark first and all. Over the opacity, but I want this to be smaller. But like the perfect size. Okay, now we're gonna grab this like cast shadow color. We're gonna, this leg would shade the other leg. Be stronger. It's like the back side of the fingers. So it would be like getting it up to there here. Here, the front side of it would. No, it's like a little bit more. This area would not get any light. It's almost like there's a light source right here. And get a little bit of outside light. Just bring it in a little bit further. And for the hair, I love drawing hair. Kinda already got the pillowy shading in, so now we're gonna start cutting in a little bit. And then I want this to be just like the bit that's like kind of drop shadowed a little bit. And this is like for the pigtails. Oh yeah, because this is behind the head. I do kind of want like a more light to like push back. There we go. Oh, and then because I'm having this go in front of the arm, this area should be lighter. Okay. This is pants. So now we can start to cut in some like clothing folds. This is mostly just like a mostly like done. Oh, and then we've got like the little bits up here. Oh, we've also got this arm would cast a shadow. There we go. And that shirt. A lot of little creases. Oh. I'm getting very hungry, so I might take a little break. I might need a snack. want to turn this more to like a... a little more blue toned. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna go get a snack. And then we'll be back to do some overpainting on this. back! Never make myself visible again. Ooh! Hi! Okay. You may hear me munching. Got a Hot Pocket. I love Hot Pockets. They're so yummy. It was gonna be my lunch, but maybe I'm just having an early lunch. Okay. I think that we were thinking about... Okay, I want to do... Oh, because this is a multiplayer. Actually, just makes them more visible. I mean, that's fine. Okay. So now we're doing overpainting. I love overpainting. I might actually keep my palette up. Let's render hair first. Okay, every time that I make Hot Pockets, there is a side that has less filling and it gets kind of burnt. And I don't know what to do about it. And every single time it's the one that I bite first. I don't know. I'm special. I'm very skilled. Skilled at making Hot Pockets. This is the brush that I usually use, but do we want to improve it somehow? How do we do that? For one, we would probably add some pen pressure. We don't really need the texture on it. We need it to be probably a little bit closer together. That's about as much as it can be. Angle. Piece of pen tilt. Okay, let's try this, because that'll give us like... I don't actually know if I have pen tilt turned on. Direction of pen. That's actually being affected by the tilt. Don't know why, but... Oh, and then is there a way to... My opacity... I want the opacity to be strong. There we go. Actually... Oh, frick, I'm gonna sneeze again. It's one of my few gripes about this apartment, is that I am allergic to something in it, and so I am just kind of constantly sneezing. Otherwise, love the place. My guess is that the previous owner probably had cats or something, because I am allergic to cats. But I don't really know. I also know that my neighbor has cats. But I don't think that I could get a reaction from, like, through the wall. But there are quite a few people here who have cats, so it's likely that a previous neighbor had cats. Or previous, owner had cats. I love drawing Ellie's hair. She is gonna cut it at some point soon. And I'm gonna miss it. It's the qualms of being a character designer. I'm like, it would be better design-wise if you cut your hair. Well, her hair right now is pretty iconic. However, like, I did kind of set up a lot of symbolism of, like, her hair is, like, a little bit, so I've set up a few things with it. This is how I play D&D. I'm setting up these, like, character things, where it's, like, she feels very capable of taking care of other people, but she feels very incapable of taking care of herself, or even like she shouldn't. Where Ellie has all this hair. Both Ellie and her dad have a shit ton of hair. And she would take care of his hair. She would not take care of her own. And also she hasn't cut her hair since there was, like, a big tragedy in that her dad was blamed for, and she feels like she has to take on some of that. It's an interesting thing of because her dad so very much blames himself for it, she feels, and, like, other people blame mages for it, and she is also a mage, she feels like she's carrying his burdens, or like she will inherit this almost like debt to the world that he very much walks through life with. And it's because of how he's processing it, of, like, where he very much blames himself, and she's like, okay, well, I'm your daughter, and I'm going to outlive you, and because she's an elf, like, she's like, okay, this means that the rest of my life I must spend rectifying this thing that was done, and it wasn't even his fault, and she's very much like, it's not your fault, but she's also like, because you believe it's your fault, by that logic, as your daughter, I must spend my life trying to fix it. Which he would be heartbroken if he figured out that this is how, because he may be dying presently, and, like, if he figured out that, like, she is picking up this burden for him, or at least internally, and, like, that is a part of why, like, it's interesting how her motivations have changed, because her motivations initially were just to, like, kind of save her dad from, he's mega cursed. Oh, he's not mega cursed, he's, well, okay, he's talking to, an angel because he's enchanted, and that angel is kind of like, it's like talking to an eldritch being kind of vibes. It is killing him. And look at this hair. I'm so happy with how this is turning out. I was very, I feel like I always go through the, like, I don't know how this is gonna, like, I don't like this drawing, yada yada yada, but, like, this one I'm very happy with. This one is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I also like how I've edited the brush that I use for hair. It also very much, like, this drawing very much shows how, I was talking about Ellie's hair symbolism earlier. So there's the whole thing about, like, how, she's much more willing to take care of her dad than herself, just because, like, she has never really been taught how to take care of herself. And then, but, so, another party member has actually been doing her hair. Like, she knows how to do her hair. She could, it's just, like, there's that, mental block for her of, like, she will spend her time doing basically anything else of, like, helping other people. She does, she has weaver's tools, so she like fixes things around camp. It's that, like, it's a thing that she knows that she should do, and yet there's always something else that she feels like she should do more. And then there was, like, the big tragedy that happened, which made mages be persecuted, and then also destroyed basically her home country. Not basically, it did. I mean, it's still there. It's just mega cursed now. There's a lot of curses in this world, if you can't tell. And so Ellie, like, very much a person of habit, is like, that is gone. Like, all of the rituals that she had in place around her hair, which she did have actually quite a few, because her mom was very particular about her own hair, and it was a way to emulate her mom. She's very much, like, she wouldn't know where to go. And it was like it didn't start as a conscious choice to not cut her hair for her, but it became all of these mages who died, their hair never got to grow. And so it is a reminder of the amount of time in which I have survived. Which I find, if you take it another layer deeper, very fun with the idea of the only way that she measures and, like, celebrates her survival is with hair, which is a dead part of her. And, like, she hasn't put that together. I have. I think it's very fun symbolism. But she's thinking towards the future now, in the campaign. So, going forward to, why is she changing her hair? She's thinking forward towards the future. I love Clocktown. I know to play this song on my ocarina. It makes me so happy. I at least used to. I might need to get a refresher on it, but. But basically, I'm getting very distracted by the song. I very much enjoy the song. It will be very much distracting me. That nose is like crooked. I also think I have too much visible. Sometimes it helps if I tilt the canvas. Yeah, look at how... Can I just warp it? This one also sounds like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It's, again, Pikmin. I think they just use, like, similar music. Or, like, instruments. I know what it is. It's the nose isn't rotated. So, like, see how the head is rotated this way? I've again chosen a difficult position. Okay. His nose is actually mostly in shading. Brush is too big. And if we were to draw the bottom plane of the nose, it would be like this. Right? Maybe a little bit shallower. So then this would go... This looks very small. This is the thing that you run into when you do very fun shading things like this. The nose looks right, it just looks too small. Can I, like... Nose expand. There we go. I also gave her too much of a forehead. See, I used to have the problem of not giving characters enough foreheads, and now I'm having the opposite problem. This will be a wild time lapse to watch back. Oh, and then the other thing with this was that I wanted to give her, like, scarring, because I was talking with the DM about the fact that, like, she lived through the Mage Riots. Which was, like, when mages kind of went bonkers. Bonkers with power. And so, I wanted to give her, like, kind of magical looking scars. It would be fun. Like more like tattoos. But adding like puckered skin will help. I have to look like kind of. I think that the red will work better, just with like the. Because that's like more of how it would kind of look naturally. But with like little tinges of what's green. Go. It'd be like a regular pattern kind of vibe. Okay. Go back to painting on top of this. The biggest thing that I've found for drawing scarring is to stipple more than like drawing strokes. I want almost draw like a veining through here. I'm trying to think of how magical scarring would look. Let's blend it out a little bit. And then she's also gotten another scar from, like, almost dying. A bunch during the campaign. Could do a fun, like, I love putting scars on the right side of the face. Zuko coded. That's where my character Rain, who had like a very Zuko like burn scar, had hers. I also have some big scars. They're hidden, but I want to try to make more characters with stuff that I kind of struggle with liking about myself. You know? Like, I have, like, I don't know how it's gonna change, so it's not really like a thing that I have right now, but I'm likely gonna have some hair loss through my life. And that's something that actually stresses me out quite a bit. Like not like genuine stress, I guess, but like, I guess like kind of genuine stress. I don't know. I feel very odd talking about stuff about my body that I'm self-conscious about, because I feel like a lot of the like, I don't know, I feel like saying I don't like this thing about myself is like anti, or like hurts the body positivity movement, I guess. I don't know. It's just like I have things that I don't necessarily super enjoy about my body, and it's fine. But I honestly find it more odd that like I can't say like this is a thing that I'm not a super big fan of, or like I'm worried about. I don't know. It's why we keep on having to go back to things that like we were addressing before, right? Like there's waves of feminism and that kind of thing, and like actually reevaluating that there may be a better way to think about this. I don't know. I don't know if anyone catches my drift. I feel like concerns about hair loss are a more common thing among like AMAB people. Because, like, because I know that it's very common. I don't know if it's AMAP specific. Is it just, like, high testosterone? I only know this because of H-Bomber guys, like, joking about it in his videos. Where I'm like, I don't know where, like, hair loss in men comes from. More blendy. I need to learn how to draw feet. I have 2 feet pack, like, reference things. Because I struggle with drawing shoes, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to draw feet. And I did, like, a bunch of feet studies, actually. I got significantly better at them. And I might need to revisit that, because I also have, like, I have thousands and thousands more feet in that, like, reference pack. It's kind of crazy. There's a video that I was watching earlier today, about how, like, you gotta think about shading and line art as the same thing. Which has been something that I've been thinking about recently, where it's like, because really, a lot of times with line art, especially when you're doing fully rendered stuff, it mostly sticks around as like, the core shadow. Core shadow? I think that's what it's called. The, like, darkest shadow in a piece. Send this back a little bit. Still weirdly, oh, it's because I don't have, like, this is an overlap. Okay. This is pretty good. And the eyebrows. And something that I always like doing is Ellie actually does have pierced ears. such a tiny detail that nobody would ever notice, but I've now said it. She used to have them pierced so that way she could wear earrings on fancy occasions. Back pre-Cataclysm. Okay, let's add some fun... like... edge lighting. And put everything in a folder. I mostly want to just try to, like, capture the... Do, like, a purple glow light. Be, like, illuminating stuff like this.
Mr. Fiction.
Thank you for the follow! I am drawing Ellie, my D&D character. We're nearing the last little stages, so I'm adding some, like, fun bounce lights. It's usually when it, like, kind of fully starts. Like, I don't know why. It tends to, like, get exponentially better at this point, which I think is just because it's, like, coming off as all polished and that kind of thing. But adding some nice room lights. It also helps to, like, get some lighting to parts of it that aren't necessarily getting enough lighting, or, like, in order to show, like, that aren't getting enough lighting to show kind of what their vibe is. I don't know. Words are hard. Okay. Let's see, we've also got yellow. I don't actually have, like, specular lights in the, like, kind of areas that could have them. What happened? So this is gonna be, like, specular highlights towards the light source. I actually don't necessarily like how this is looking. Maybe do it a little smaller. Something kind of like that. My D&D character is Ellie. She is a knowledge cleric of Mystra in my friend's grimdark, like grimdark fantasy world. She is constantly going through shit. She is incredibly cursed. Most of the things that I call curses technically are not curses. but they're adverse magical effects. Let's leave it at that. And she's the daughter of, so in this world, 10 years ago, there was a big explosion at like the giant Mage's Tower in the middle of the country, and it kind of basically cursed the entire country. The mages inside, most of them made it out alive, including Ellie and her dad. Her dad was one of the mages who was casting the spell. He's never said what the spell was supposed to do. But we've recently figured out, and that is that, the reason why, some, like, good people were working on the spell that ended up blowing up most of the world was because, they're being enchanted, or controlled by two separate people. There was, the angel of the god of magic, who was, after the god of magic had kind of, abandoned the material plane. She was not supposed to give mortals magic. Had basically decided that he wanted her power. And so he, was talking with the one who, led the ritual, and was like, and okay, so this isn't quite confirmed, but I think basically confirmed was like, gave him the spell to, that was like the big ritual. And there was also the ritual was done by, like basically heads of the different, magical colleges. So enchantment, transmutation, etc. The enchantment one was also trying to use this for his own gain. And was also vying to take over Mystra's, like, godhood. So they basically exploded the country in order to kill Mystra. Ellie is the daughter of the divination mage, and has basically, over the course of our adventure, figured this out. Her dad is still under control of these two forces. And so she's trying to figure out a way to, because she is a cleric of Mystra. She's trying to find a way to, keep Mystra in control of her power, but also, like, keeping the status quo will not, will just mean that we get back here, it won't actually solve the underlying problem. And so, she has a lot of opinions on government, this is hilariously my second, actually a lot of my characters end up like trying to make governmental changes. One of them has succeeded. Where it's like, basically the idea of like, hey, if one country builds a giant mage's tower for to study like magic, like this unknown or like unknown and volatile, like with her worship she'd use it as a science, this volatile and unknown science. Of course, if something happens that makes it more unstable, then all of the other countries are going to ban it, and they're going to go to war with that country. That was what like kind of spurred on the cataclysm, the big spell. So she's like, we cannot centralize magic. That was a stupid idea. She has very low charisma, so her trying to do anything about this will be incredibly funny. She's like, centralizing magic was a bad idea. And, like, also banning magic was also a bad idea. And she just has so many plans and plots. So we are trying to figure out, because Ellie was given like a spell by Mystra after the cataclysm that would. Oh, hold on, okay. I'm theorizing, live theorizing right now. Oh, big stretch. Because the spell erases everyone's knowledge of the cataclysm. That would make it so that way the angel wouldn't know what he did. And... Oh, hold on. Okay, because I was like, I have this tool, which is this spell. What effect would it have and how would I use it? Because basically, if nobody... That would have profound effects on anyone who is very involved in the cataclysm. So, because Savras is the angel of Mystra, also Savras is also a D&D, like, figure. He's being used in a different way in this campaign. I mean, he is still a D&D character, but, if Savras doesn't know... Oh, if Savras doesn't know about the spell, then he would probably be on our side to protect Mystra. Oh. So we would get Savras on our side, and then also... Xeraxes is the enchanter. Xeraxes is a dick. He wouldn't be on our side, but he wouldn't know what his goal was anymore. Oh, okay, so I really need to focus up on this spell. Oh. I need to... We have session tomorrow. I need to, like, make a note to myself, like, every long resting to start, like, working on this. We actually just don't want the... Maybe, but I do want, I'm gonna color balance this. And I do wanna, I'm gonna lower the saturation a little bit. Yeah! Oh, okay, I need to, I'm just gonna keep on adding more hair strands. It always makes it look better. By this I mean, I enjoy adding hair strands. Okay, I need to remember to do that. We have session tomorrow. And I think that we are likely to get a long rest. Because I haven't, like... Okay, we've been playing for, like, 11 months now. We started at the start of the year. I have never told the DM I'm gonna sit down and work out the... Okay, because a big part of this has been because, like, Ellie's been enchanted. So... Oh, but we now know, because we have we got a buddy, he's debatably a buddy, who can stop Ellie from being controlled. So then we just need to stop her from being able to be scryed on, which I can do! Oh, okay, I can actually work on it during long rests now. Ooh, okay. Okay. Ah. I love this character, this campaign, if you cannot tell. It has been an immense joy over the last year. Lots of theorizing, lots of coming up with things. Oh, this is gonna be great. Well, we need to have a, like... I need to ask the DM if we had a long rest last session. Because if not, then I can do this, and then we might get... I feel like it, so I am also, I used to DM a lot, and I feel like we have been in the, there's sometimes the players, like, will not pick up on something, and, like, I'm like, okay, I need you guys to figure this thing out. I feel like the last few sessions have been, like, all of us, like, connecting the dots so rapidly. And where it's like we're finally putting the pieces together. And, oh, it's been so exciting. Little, like... Oh, okay, because I've been wondering. Because basically my character's pitch. Because I joined... So this was a campaign that I joined 2 days before it started. So the world was already, like, made. Everything was already kind of, like, ready to go. And then my pitch to the DM for what my character was I was like... Because I thought that the Cataclysm had happened much longer ago than, like, 10 years. I was like... I want my character to be descended from, one of the mages, who cast the spell. And I want to play a cleric of Mystra, because I was like, Mystra's I always, like, a big thing for me when I'm building characters is I'm like, I want to be very tied in with the world. Because as a former DM myself, I'm like, I feel like that helps like, keep the story on like, a good trajectory, and it helps, like, it means that, like, instead of having to create new things for, like, your character's unique story, they can, like, use world elements, basically. Because your backstory is tied with the world. But I was like, and then for my, like, this is the special little spice that I want to introduce into the world. I was like, I want my character to have been given a spell by Mystra, like, in a vision, that, to be given a spell, by Mystra in a vision that is, like, basically Modify Memory is a, sadly underpowered spell, but, that would erase everyone's memory of the Cataclysm. And in doing so, I want it to erase everyone's memory of Ellie as well, because Ellie's the caster of the spell. Because I think that so like the specific like the conflict that I wanted to bring in there with that element of it was I thought that it would be such a fun player interaction, like to like go my character, like our characters meeting this character again for the first time, and whether because it's been a little bit up in the air. I'm like, I don't actually care whether or not Ellie remembers, because it's more tragic if she does, and it's like, these are people who I so deeply care about, and yet they don't remember me, and I remember them, and I'm building up these friendships again. But I also think that it's just as fun with if Ellie also doesn't know, and so it is the it's the like I know, like the feeling of familiarity of like like think like False Hydra, where it's like I have all of these things from these people, where it's Ellie's been collecting items from different party members and different people who we interact with, and also giving them. She has a deck of tarot cards, and she's been giving them different cards to symbolize them. So she's like, I will be able to prove that we have interacted before, but you won't remember me. Which I think will be a very fun interaction. I want to draw her like sitting on some clouds. That'd be fun. I think it'll fit with the color scheme. I think I can just like steal her hair color actually. If you can't tell, I love angst in my like writing and such. Because I really did just kind of like do the mid-tone for the hair. I think it's fun. I love being sad in non-real life. We're gonna go for a slightly harder brush. I'm just kind of playing around. I'm gonna add like some curling noise to this as well. I want the like... I want it to fit as like, this is where something is on iCloud. Almost looks like hair. I haven't done much like drawn textured backgrounds in a while. I've been thinking about doing like some photo texture backgrounds, but I always forget to before I set up like the pose and everything, and then I'm like, by this point I might as well not. Kind of pulls this right bit into the foreground. Just kind of mess with the colors though. actually want it to be darker. Yeah, like that. Dun, 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 dun. This one is also Pokemon Mistreated. I'm gonna add more smaller details because this is more in the foreground. Moth. I currently have a ton of pantry moths. We've been at war. I am not winning. Actually, I may be winning a little bit, but it is a battle. I want like a more something kind of like a framing. She's kind of crowded when I put it above her. I want to add some birds. Why is Ellie on a cloud? I don't know. That was the vibe that the colors went with. Might be my new profile picture. I have just a little picture of her sitting with her legs out currently. I like the frame. I don't think I like it. I like it in like specifically the bottom part. Yeah. Burps. Okay. I want to add some like prawn noise. I thought that you could apply it to all without merging. No! Okay. Saving. Actually, I closed it. Yeah, because Control S and Control W are right next to each other. Oh. Actually, I'm not the biggest fan of the birds. I'm not a fan of that one. I think it's more like dreamy this way. Birds add too much realism. Fuck them birds. Now we're gonna duplicate this. It's gonna think a long time about that. We're gonna take our blur tool. They're going to be too strong. Why is there a ruler on here? Oh, it's because of very deep in there. Okay. Why is this not working? What the blend though? There we go. I want the blur. Why is blur not working? I understand if it is too big. This is the same thing. I just want. I need another teeth. Ah. Okay, blur. Why are you working now? Okay. I don't know why. Now we can paint over like some areas that are out of focus, or would be. These are a little bit further back. There we go. That's fine. Okay. I think they were gonna call that good. The music has told me that it is time to stop. Let me. Bum bum bum. Thank you for joining me. Looks like my name is Allie. This is Art by Allie. Thank you for joining me today. Today we played with some new action tools to make color palettes, and had to end up reprogramming it because I forgot how it worked, or because I didn't realize exactly how it worked. And we drew Ellie, my D&D character. out of disk space. If you enjoyed the stream and would like to see more, I stream on 9 a.m. CST to 11 a.m. CST on weekends. And yeah, thank you for joining me.